The ash-filled air stung my eyes and nostrils as I worked building the trench to prevent the forest fire from reaching the inner, more ancient part of the forest. The druids and other nature-aligned folk employed their magic to save as many of the forest creatures as possible. Scattering throughout the area, they returned with creatures ranging from deer and cave bears to dryads and even a unicorn. Some of the larger creatures stayed with us at the boundary to help dig the trench, while others were brought to the more inner part of the forest. As the blazing fire approached, I watched a druid summon a fiery fox, who set the brush and dead trees closest to the trenches aflame. It seemed odd to me, but they explained that doing this actually helped create a barrier. "The flames can't burn what's not there," the soot-covered dwarf explained to me as he helped his fire-clad friend by directing its efforts to the dry, dead trees that, if left, could fall across the trench we built. This proved to be successful because the fire did not get past the trench in that section of forest. During the worst part of the inferno, the tree I had earlier taken a break under suddenly uprooted itself and was revealed to be a large, ancient tree ant. A sweeping strike with one of its branches, a deep furrow was cut into the earth in front of the worst of the flames. Some of the flames burnt his arm, but before any of us could begin to heal the creature, who clearly was in pain, we witnessed something none had seen before. From the giant creature came dozens of large, deep red-colored ants, the size of a dog. They scuttled down the limb of their home and spat amber-colored phlegm at the proffered wounds. The spit hardened, not only putting out the flame, but actually actively healing the wound before falling off like a scab. Upon returning back inside the giant creature, those present realized that it was filled with an entire colony of these creatures. Welcome to the Bardlings Banter channel. My name is Matthew, and today on the Cauldron we are going over the red tree ant. That creature we just talked about in that short story that I written for this video. I do invite everyone listening to like, subscribe, comment, share. It really does help. So, the red tree ant. Before we get into this, I do want to say, like with the other character or creature we created, the beaver folk, you can find this on D&D Beyond. In their homebrew section, as long as you have access to it. The red tree ant is a small beast. It has no alignment. Armor class of 12. Hit points on average 6. That being 2d6 plus 1, if you prefer to roll. Speed 30 feet, and a climbing speed of 30 feet as well. It's an ant. They can climb. They're good at it. Strength score of plus 12, so a little stronger than your average man. Dexterity of 10, Constitution 12 as well. Intelligence 1. They're ants. They're they're drones. They don't really think for themselves in that way. Wisdom 7, 3 Charisma. They do have fire resistance though, so that's one kind of interesting thing. They've gained with probably, due to their diet. Fire resistance for you new DMs. That means they take half damage from all damage from fire sources. Senses, passive perception of 8. So, not great. So, getting really into the meat and potatoes of this creature. So, it does have a bite attack. Wow. A bite attack. And it's considered a melee weapon attack, plus 3 to hit, reach 5 feet, 1 target, hit is 4 or 1d6 plus 2 slashing damage. That's pretty standard. Where this creature really shines is with its amber spit attack. The tree ant shoots amber-colored saliva in a 20-foot line. Each creature in that line must make a DC 12 dexterity saving throw to avoid being restrained in amber. On a critical failure, they actually suffer from the suffocation condition. Creatures that are size category huge or greater are immune from the previous stated effects and the conditions. The victim can use this action, or I'm sorry, their action rather, to escape the amber with a DC 12 strength saving throw. Or the amber can be shattered if it takes more than 4 damage. The AC for the amber is 8. Then the last part, which is actually the part that you really got to see, was all plants affected by the amber heals for 1d6 plus 1 per round. And this healing would happen on the red tree ant's turn. So let's really get into this. This is a support creature. Its job is to work with the tree ant. I thought of this creature as a creature that has a symbiotic relationship with a tree ant monster, So I will say, do not use this creature if you are concerned about your players surviving the fight with just the tree ant. If you think they're going to mop the floor with the tree ant, by all means add a red tree ant. And then I would actually recommend that you add maybe some swarming insects, which are standard creatures. They're listed as scarabs, or centipedes, but you don't have to describe them as such. So just use swarming insects to represent the rest of the colony. But for the most part, I would only recommend using 1, maybe 2 of these creatures at most. The other thing about its abilities is that obviously it can be used to restrain and even suffocate, which could eventually kill your player's characters. So be careful. That being said, there's that little part in there about the amber can be shattered if it takes more than 4 damage. That includes any damage, including the bite attack from a red tree ant. So, if you use this creature to restrain one of your player characters, and then he bites the amber, in a case where he's totally encased in amber, so that would be that critical failure that we talked about, and he's suffocating, or they're suffocating, and the tree ant attacks with its bite attack, that would shatter the amber. So keep that in mind. Maybe you want to do that. Maybe you don't want to do that. But again, more than 4 damage, that's not much. So other players should be able to get them out of it fairly easy. Keyword in that is should. Doesn't always happen. So again, I cannot reiterate this enough. Be very careful with how many of these creatures you use, particularly in conjunction with huge plant creatures. That being said, if you're already throwing a tree ant at your party, they should be able to handle a red tree ant. Let me know what you guys think about this creature. Let me know if you use it, what your experience is like, what changes you did make, how they worked out. Lastly, I do want to throw a special thanks to a friend of mine, Sammy, for actually helping me edit that short story down. It really helped a lot. So, this has been Matthew with Bardling's Banter, wishing you all 1d10 worth of inspiration.